Texas man died from a flesh-eating bacteria simply fishing. Dr. Danish Ali has the details.
As we recently seen in a individual who had an ulcer on his foot, Isaiah, and he got in the water, and it was just for a couple of minutes that he got in to do something, wasn't wearing a proper shoes, had sandals on, and got this bacteria through the skin, through the opening in his foot, and that bacteria spread rapidly to his body and ended up killing him.
Wow.
This is what we call a Vibrio bacterial infection that is a flesh-eating bacteria. It spreads very rapidly, and once it gets into the bloodstream, and you have other medical comorbidities that cannot fight that infection fast enough, it goes into your body, and your body ends up shutting down or going into what we call sepsis, where you have multi-organ failures, where your organs stop working, and that ultimately very rapidly leads to death.
Now, how often do we see instances like this, cases like this? Is it rare or what?
They are rare cases, Isaiah. However, in 1 in 5 folks who develop this bacterial infection end up dying from it. And so it is definitely a very serious bacterial infection, but it's also very treatable, Isaiah. Therefore, if you get early enough to the emergency room and you get very strong antibiotics started immediately, then there is a really good chance of recovering from this. But time is ticking, and it's of the essence to get to the emergency room immediately, so you can get the appropriate treatments, fluids, get to the point where you don't have this multi-organ failure.
And it's a reminder how bacteria can be helpful to the human body, but also very deadly and dangerous as well.
That's right, Isaiah. And the key is to wear protective shoes. If you have waterproof boots or waterproof shoes, those are ideal. If you have some sort of a ulcer or infection in your feet or your hands, anywhere in your body, be careful. Try to avoid getting in the water. Try to avoid getting that area, water in that area. And if you have like comorbidities like diabetes, Isaiah, we know that diabetes decreases your rate of recovery as it relates to infections and ulcers in your body. It decreases wound healing. Therefore, if you have diabetes, be extra cautious that you are taking appropriate measures. If you have some sort of a wound, maybe cover it with some medical tape that you can get from the store. Maybe even consider just avoiding getting that area wet completely, because again, if that bacteria is existing in that water and it gets in your bloodstream, it is very, very rapidly progressing, and it can cause death very fast.
And you may not be able to react in a timely fashion because you don't know what's going on. You're like, well, I just went fishing. It's something as simple as that. Now, are we talking about wounds, open wounds, or are we talking about even cuts?
Cuts as well, Isaiah. That's a good point. And even small cuts, where you may get a little paper clip. If it's deep enough and it can go through, that bacteria will eat through that and will spread very rapidly. So yes, good point. And yes, if you have a cut, you have those ulcers or breakdowns in your feet, calluses, for example, as well, that have broken down. All of these things are a source for this bacterial infection to get in.